Welcome back to Straight Outta Marvel. It's your host Kevin27, back with another fire episode, and this is the 101 Easter eggs and things that I missed the first time I seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. So light up that exotic if you got it, pour up that expensive so we can get offensive, because we about to dive right into it. The movie starts with a special spider logo as the Marvel replacement, and I gotta say, bro, this is my favorite one since the T'Challa Chadwick Boseman tribute, because Spider-Man's so iconic, he had to get his own Marvel logo. And not only did they do the MCU stuff, they did Into the Spider-Verse, and I could have sworn I seen PS4 Spidey. I could have sworn I seen PS4 Spidey. So we gonna get into that, bro. For real, for real. Number 2, Peter starts the movie narrating the same letter he wrote at the end of No Way Home. I love that scene. I just love the way that it introed, and Tom Holland bodied it, bro. Like, just automatic lock-in factor brings you right in because you remember that letter that he wrote at the end of No Way Home. It was 5 years ago, damn near. So it means a lot now hearing it. But remember, this is kind of like, we about months after No Way Home, I'm assuming, when the movie starts at this part, right? So about months away. And then also you can see Peter doing repairs on his suit with Evie, which is his new tech assistant. And you could say Evie is something, maybe something of a god, biblical type of thing. We talk about Eve and it's a brand new day. Come on, man. I told you we going there today. Number 3. Obviously, we get the iconic shot of the original comic book introduction to Spider-Man. And this was what, 1962? We got to see that amazing comic book introduction. Now, obviously, your boy wasn't alive. I was still, my mama wasn't even alive yet. So, but I'm just saying, the shot is iconic and it's been recreated, I feel, multiple times now in live action, but I feel like this is the most prominent one that they've done. The most prominent one. I know they've done it in the video games for sure, but this right here, loved it. Number 4, we see Peter getting his own spot from a landlord, and it's full of asbestos. So everybody like, well, how is Spider-Man being able to afford rent? What is he doing? Bro, he's living in the attic or some shit. Nobody wanted this place because no one could even live there because of the asbestos. Now, obviously, Peter, he's probably immune to some stuff like that, so he was cool. It looked cool, but when you look at it, bro, it looked rinky-dink. It looked like it don't even got a bathroom in there, just being honest. So it looked like in the trailers, it really looked like a penthouse, like he in a penthouse suite. But when you really like look at it, when it's all webbed up, no, it don't look like that. It looks terrible. Number 5. So we get about a 3 to 5 minute montage of Spider-Man taking out every supervillain, groups, and solos. So he's taking down the Hand. He took down Tombstone. He took down Tarantula. A Scorpion. He was knocking all these motherfuckers down. So it was cool to see that that's what Spider-Man was doing. I told you guys it was just trailer bait for the trailer. And it was good to just see that they didn't try to do a Sinister Six thing. I'm just being honest. We don't need, not right now. Maybe down the line once we get Doc Ock, but I don't even think they'll do that now because of what happened in No Way Home. I don't even think they want to go and start going back and digging up those kind of bones. I think they'd rather just keep it for like this one. they made, Damage Control the real villain. So number 6, MJ asked Ned, who does he think he is was watching when Ned has like 140 likes on his post. So I just didn't understand why she was saying that, because I get it. It's not like crazy, but in regular people terms, if you post a picture or you post, not even especially a video, and you get 140 likes, it's because it's people mess with you and they proud of what you're doing or whatever the hell. So I didn't understand why she was trying to downplay it. Like, my man's wasn't out here shining on his Instagram. And I love throughout that whole time we get to see him getting a goatee. Like, just we get to see them growing up through his Instagram stories. That was cool. Number 7, they show throughout the montage that Spider-Man is getting intense headaches, and you can also see the spider web fluid bulge building up in his wrist. So you can definitely tell all the loneliness is getting to him. Now, on first watch, I wasn't sure, but watching it here, definitely. Number 8. So I got a question, man. This for anyone from New York. Do people from New York really order Little Caesars? Like a box of Little Caesars to the crib. Now, I know this in the 2020, so DoorDash and all that is prevalent. Uber Eats. This is not an ad. But I was just amazed that he would be eating a Little Caesar. Now, I get it. It was obviously ad or product placement, because it was this. It was the next one, but I didn't really remember what car it was. But I mean, and that's just typical. So I get it. I'm not mad at it. But if it's just for product placement, for sure. But I always hear that New York and Chicago got the best pizzas in America. So why would you be eating from Little Caesars? You would just be eating from some random pizza spot, right? Like around the corner in New York. Or maybe he just like, you know what? I don't feel like going nowhere. I want to order Little Caesars. Could have been that. Could have been that. Just wondering. Spending too much time on it. Just wondering. New Yorkers, hit me up in the comment section, man. I need to know. So, like we were saying, number 9, civilians are actively helping Spider-Man, like the black guy in the black car. I just didn't remember what car it was when I talked about product placement. But stepping on the gas saying, I got you, Spidey. And Spidey was like, no, you ain't got to do that. And he pedaled to the metal. Love that. It reminded me of the scene from the first Spider-Man with the same not the same black guy. That's hella racist. With the black guy from that movie, like, you mess with one New Yorker. We said, oh, New York loves Spidey. You mess with one of us. You mess with all of us. Like,
oh yeah, I got something for your ass. You mess with Spidey. You mess with New York. You mess with one of us. You mess with all of us.
Oh. Hey, when they was, messing up Goblin. So just reminding me of that. Just the city embracing Spider-Man because he is New York's hero. So Frank comes on the scene and instantly Staten Island is brought up. I love that. So Staten Island was brought up about 3 to 4 times in this movie, and it was brought up immediately. Hopefully we get some kind of real backstory on what went on. All I heard was he threw rice at my face. I had him, and then you came and it messed me up. Then you had to save me because you can't. It was something to that effect, but I didn't really get the full because there's just a bunch of jumbled audio. So, yeah. So, I hope you guys are enjoying this episode, man. Before we get to the next wave, please make sure you hit this follow button right here at Straight Outta Marvel on Spotify. It's always appreciated. And check out my latest episodes. I mean, I got a lot, but my latest obviously is Brand New Day, Instant Reaction, fresh out the movie theater. and then whatever else is going to be dropping once by the time you hear this. But as of now, this is what we got, X-Men 97. So please get up in there, man, and watch these videos because it means a lot. And if you really fuck with your boy, hit that 5-star rating. You know what I mean? And hit that submit. It means a lot. Now back to your regular scheduled program. So, number 11, the first time we come in contact with a certain telepath. Dang, got a lump in my throat. It's through the old lady in the tank. And this scene, we seen it in the trailer. Definitely wanted to see how it played out. And it played out just how we thought. Super epic. And I hope that old lady was all right, bro. But because, look, I get everything. Like, okay, they don't remember. But I know they feel the physical pain. Right? I know they feel the physical pain even though they aren't there. And we should actually talk about that. So, yeah, I get it. You know, Jean Grey in the sense isn't like a super villain. But does this old lady not have head trauma from being in a tank, no helmet on, and bursting through a brick wall? Like, I'm just saying. The old guy getting hit by a car. I need to know. Like, when Spider-Man was beating the snot out of Scorpion, did he not feel it once he came back? I just want to know. So, number 12, the big bad, Jean Grey, tried to jump into Spidey's mind, but he doesn't allow it, of course. And I love this scene. She says, I can't get in your mind. And it was funny because she got in and he, yeeted her ass right out. I love that scene because Spidey was like, you can't get up in my mind and play mind games, which is crazy because I'm like, well, could Miss Maximoff do it to you? I wonder. But Jean Grey couldn't. She could do it to anyone else, but not good old Spidey. So now the officer comes to, and it is immediately remorseful and even tells Spider-Man he loves him. That part, I've seen it 3 times in the movie theater. Every time the joke lands. Spider-Man, he's like, I never do that. I love you, Spider-Man. Like, everyone laughs all 3 times I've seen it. The joke hits hard every time. So, number 14, Spider-Man walks to go see Yelena. And when he walks into the building, the receptionist, they're watching Men in Black. Now, it could mean something. It could not. But Marvel, they don't do stuff for no reason. So it's a reason why Yelena's receptionists are watching Men in Black. Could be something. Could be not. I think it's something. Could have something to do with Doomsday. Obviously, Fantastic Four coming through. They're aliens, right? Never know. Just saying. It got to mean something. It don't mean nothing. So, number 15, Yelena tells Spidey to take his clothes off. Oh, that was terrible. Tell Spidey to strip. And again, we talked about it. Obviously, you don't want anyone. You got to know if they got a wire on or if they got weapons, like she explained. And I also explained in my last video that this was a nod to Bad Boys 2. Made her get in the ocean. Make sure she ain't got no wires. Makes sense. But that scene is pure comedy, bro, with Spider-Man coming out with the mask on. In his boxers. Hilarious. So, Spidey, number 16, we got Spidey and 10 Mysterios. So, that was just funny, Yelena saying that. Because it's like, if you know, you know. And we've all been on Twitter enough to know what the hell that means, right? The 10 Spider-Man and whatever the hell. We all know what that means. So, And we all seen the meme. So I could just imagine, like, you got the 10 Mysterios and then you got a little Spider-Man on the couch. Like, that is hilarious, bro. It's some funny shit. Number 17, we could talk about small potato, big potato. I love that because it really puts stuff into perspective when it comes to Marvel. We all wonder, well, what is Spider like when everything was going on with brand new, what's it called? Born Again, Daredevil Born Again. We're all like, well, why isn't Spider-Man intervening? This seems like it should be more in line to what's going on with him. And to be honest, no. They actually did it perfect with this meaning, this explaining to say we all got different issues that we going through. No, Spider-Man is not showing up when the new Avengers are coming together doing their thing, because how would he even know? Right? Because he's off fighting his own crime and wherever the hell he's fighting crime at, right? So it just makes sense. They're not doing street level crime busting. He is. So Spider-Man is going to see different things. He slept in one night and had 109 missed alerts. He's not going to get to everything. And I love that they put that on there. Small potato, big potato. And at the end, it actually become more of a bigger potato than she thought. But cool. Number 18, the entire movie, they have you looking for VMAX. And when you find out, it's heartbreaking. But I was a little disappointed when the first time, because I was like, wait, that was VMAX? But I was like, okay. Like once it start clicking what VMAX was, I was like, you son of a, like, yeah. That was cool. That was cold. Number 19. Love that they explained that Peter's DNA is arachnid, just in case, you needed a refresher, you needed an up to dater. It was that right there. Like, they gave it to you. Like, I loved it. I love that shit. Because sometimes you need that shit, dog. And I be needing it all the time. So, because I'm telling you, I'm always listening to what's going on and what people saying. It was so many people that seen the movie and was like, why don't his friends remember him? So many people. That's what I'm saying. Layman's go see these movies just because of the hype. When they start saying, oh, this movie could make $900 million in the first weekend, people like, oh, I can't miss out on this. I gotta be there. I can't. You start getting FOMO. You're like, I gotta go see it. So I heard a lot of people saying that, like, why don't they friends know? And I'm like, y'all motherfuckers didn't see No Way Home? Now, it was COVID. That's all I say, bro. For that movie to make $1.8 billion during COVID, I've been said Spider-Man bigger than the Avengers. I've been said it. Number 20, quickly we learned that the hand is working for damage control. Now, that was surprising. So when we see Spider-Man beat, and we don't even see it, that's why that was disappointing, because I thought the end scene, we were going to get that scene in the beginning. But no, we got just that little like in the trailer when he was going at the hand, and I guess he got him locked up and put in damage control, which is, I'm guessing, the Raft in the MCU, I guess. But we seen that, and I was like, okay, so now they're working for damage control. That's when I already was looking at Mr. Bill sideways. It was something about that, and there's something about his energy that he was giving off then, and even when him and Peter was having their conversation together. So 21, I do say it is crazy. Damage control is Spidey's friend now, but the last movie they locked him up over a doctored video, right? Am I tripping? I thought the reason that he got locked up for killing Mysterio was ridiculous. And to be honest, I don't even know how he wasn't able to sue. Now, maybe it's because you're not allowed to be a vigilante, but the video was completely doctored. That's why all the charges were dropped. It was a fake video, right? Like it didn't make any sense. And now he's just like, oh, I'm buddy with you guys. Now I get it. Time heals all wounds. This is 4 years later. So cool. It's a different dude. Because remember, we didn't even see the dude who arrested him. We didn't even see old boy from Wonder Man. And that was Agent Cleary. He was like the head of it, right? And he still is now. So I don't know where he is or where he was, but maybe it was like, maybe he's in the California division now because he was in Hollywood, I guess. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. But it shouldn't be because from what we see, it's still not really any superheroes other than in New York. Like everything happens in New York in Marvel. Like it's really not any other superheroes in California. It was Iron Man. That was it. And even then, like the Avengers Tower was in New York. Number 22, Ned's first introduction is seeing he's addicted to shark fire energy drinks. So Ned's introduction was like odd because he was like, "Oh, you got shark fire?" And then when she went to get one, he's like, "Oh yeah, nah, not for me, because some of my friends they like got addicted to that stuff. So you see me, don't give them to me, but give me one now. But like, actually, give me two." I don't know. It was weird. Hella weird. At least he bought some beer like a man, though. That was cool. It's like, oh man, Ned out here buying beer. He's really an adult. Number 23, Peter really did stalk Ned and showed up to his apartment, which is psychopathic. I don't care what anyone says. Spider-Man, my guy. And this is what you do when you go 4 years on a dolo tip, right? We seen the girl in the we seen the girl in his apartment building, and she was like, "Oh, we live in the same apartment." He was like, "Yeah," and just walked away from her. Like, bro, try to make a connection with her. Like he wasn't funking with it. It's like, bro, at some point you gotta move on. Some point you gotta move on. So Peter walks into Ned's room. This is number 24, which is again hella weird and invasive, if I might add. But I get it. This is homie. This is man. That's his man's, even though his mans don't know that he's his man's. And Ned says he isn't a weirdo. He just wants to find out who, Spider-Man is, so he can tell him thank you because he saved him and his friends' lives a couple times. So I like that scene. Thought it was pretty cool. It actually was like, oh yeah, that's not weird, because it would be weird. And then when you think about it, it's like, oh, that's not weird. Now I got a Spider-Man shrine. So, but have you ever seen me and Spider-Man in the same room together? You haven't. You know why? Shh. So, number 25. Ned thinks Spider-Man is Flash or the teacher from the Watts trilogy. I didn't understand that one. I think it was just purely for jokes, because I was like, why the teacher? Right? Like I didn't get it. I was like, the teacher? But it is what it is. I think it was purely for jokes, to be honest. Like I ain't think nothing of it. Ned, number 26, Ned says, "You two don't know each other?" But only because he's wondering why Maynard is in his house. So from what I took, all of the people was like partying. It seemed like he knew them all, or they knew somewhat of everyone, and then he don't know Peter at all. So he's thinking, well, maybe he's MJ's homie. And then when he's like introducing himself to MJ, he's like, wait, y'all don't know each other? And then when he was like, no, he was like, oh, and then he kind of just stopped talking to him. Like, honestly, he just dead ass stopped talking. He walked away from him, right? He wasn't trying to be cool with him. He dead ass walked away from him. When Peter was in the party like by himself after that. When he seen MJ, slobber boyfriend now. So number 27, MJ says she's waiting for something great and looks at Peter. Now I didn't understand that because she was talking about why she didn't accept her job offer, and because all of the corporations are evil. Well, duh. Like that's a no-brainer. But she was saying that, and I'm just waiting for something great and looks at Peter. Just didn't understand that. Like, was that just a mistake, or just she just looking over in the area because she don't know who this guy is? And mind you, this 4 years later, from some random person that she had a conversation with at the coffee shop. She don't know who this dude is. Number 28, the loneliness is what was pushing his arachnid levels high, but the kiss is what made it boil over the top. So when he seen that kiss, it was a wrap, bro. It was a wrap. Like, he just starts spiraling out of control. And yeah. Now, number 29, I had a question for y'all. Am I mistaken, or was his veins shaped as a spider? So we do know in the original Spider-Man series, Tobey Maguire had like a spider web on his wrist. That's where the webs came out of. It looked like his veins, Tom Holland Spider, it looked like his veins were forming into a spider web. And, it looked like that. So I was like, did anyone else notice that? Or is it just me? I could have sworn I noticed that. Number 30, we see Marissa Tomei back as Aunt May as the flashback that Jean Grey was trying to tap into, but couldn't. And this is after Peter, passes out in his room. And he wakes up in a full-blown cocoon. Or a full-blown spiderweb, not a cocoon. Before we continue, man, please hit that follow button on Spotify right about here. You just hit that follow and boom. You're connected because we got so much content to get to. So that's on Spotify, and then over here on Apple Podcasts. Please, man, hit that follow right here and 5-star rate me. Please 5-star rate me. It's much appreciated. As you can see, man, all I do is put out content. Whether it's Marvel or movie and TV reviews, we do it. All right. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. So number 31, I had a question. I want to know, why did Tobey Maguire start off as a full-grown Spider-Man then? Because if you think about it, he didn't have any powers to evolve. And then I get why Andrew Garfield's wouldn't have. But it is kind of crazy that you start off with the super strength and all of that, but Tobey was the only one to start off with organic webs. So why is he the only one? And now it took my man, it took him all this time. But you got to think, like, I feel like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was like at least 18 right off the rip, bro. So maybe that's why I don't know, because he looked like a grown ass man in the first one. Like Tom Holland, he looked like his age, you know, like, well, not his real age. Well, yeah, I mean, shit. Be telling y'all, bro, 30, you ain't about to start looking old as hell at 30. Is when you start hitting them 40s. That's when you start noticing some changes. Like some deep, and I, like, even me, right? Like, I noticed changes from when I first started this podcast. So it's a thing. But I was like, damn, why does Toby just come right off the rip with he just full grown Spidey? 32. His Spidey senses are overloading, so it's almost like a brand new skill set. This is why we start with brand new day. So it wasn't just in a fresh start. Even his powers now, he having to learn how to rework his Spidey sense, rework his swinging abilities. Everything is off now because he has a new power set, not just skill set, power set. So, and I can't wait to see how they explore that more when they do another Spider-Man. Number 33, why can't you use organic and web shooters if the sign didn't matter? So when Spider-Man was on the rooftop trying to figure it out, he was doing the Spider-Man sign, but nothing was coming out. And he had to either say like go web or something for it to come out. So I'm like, why can't you use the web shooters and that simultaneously? Right? Like, I ain't understand that. Cause I like the thought of the gadgets. Like, I love that. The web bomb, the web grenades, all that. I love the fact that he's creating his own tech. Right? Like, people sitting here, they so stupid. They thinking that Spider-Man paying all kind of money for all of this shit. When he's not, bro. He be dumpster diving. He be doing all kind of stuff to get parts, all kind of stuff, bro. Like, bro, he's very resourceful. You just gotta pay attention, man. Number 34, Spidey versus Scorpion was a cheat because it was really Spidey versus Scorpion Gray. That is my biggest gripe of the movie is, yeah, he's fighting these people except for the Hulk. Right? Like when he fought the Hulk, it really was the Hulk, but the rest of them, like when he fought Scorpion right here, it wasn't Scorpion. He was fighting Scorpion, but it was Jean Grey controlling him. So it's like, I don't know. It kind of like, it made you kind of feel bad a little bit. Like, I felt bad. Bro, 35, the way he beat up Scorpion, I need to know his skill set because he should be dead. Like, does he have any kind of powers or is he just a guy in a Scorpion suit? Because Spider-Man was beating the shit out of him. First of all, he grabbed his tail and slammed him on top of a cop car without his mask on. Then he ripped the tail off and was whacking him in the face with it. No, he should be dead. Seriously. So, number 36, we fast forward to Bruce teaching Dr. Banner. And Cindy asked the age-old Twitter question about why Thanos didn't make more food if he wanted more resources. And, you know, pretty much everyone is just in his class to hear old Avenger stories. Like, he's trying to be a physicist. Nobody care about that. They want to hear all the stories. They don't care about your astronomical numbers and all of that shit. They don't care about all that, bro. They don't care. But my whole thing was, from a person that works in a restaurant, I always say people are not starving in the world because it's not enough food. No. People are starving because of capitalism. At least here in America. I can speak for America. I don't know about what's going on in any other place, but in America, people are not starving because there's lack of food. It's lack of, we don't want to give you the food, because if food was free, nobody would make money, right? Like, if every day I knew that I could just walk outside and just go right up to my favorite hospital, right? Because like I work at a hospital and we throw away a lot of food and just get my own plate, I would never have to feed my family. I would never have to pay for groceries. I could just always do that. So that's always why. It's never it's never a lack of resources. It's always capitalism. 37. Peter asked Banner about controlling mutation, and that was our first hint. So that was the first hint that this was Jean Grey, right? Obviously, we all know it's Jean Grey by now. But when he said that, that was the first hint, and we should have known, like, oh shit, he's making the inhibitor. Especially when he was saying it, we should have knew then. So fast forward to Peter now trying to take what Bruce Banner said and take his advice and act on it. And okay, we see him wearing a Del Mar's t-shirt. So if you don't know, Mr. Del Mar was, the sandwich owner in Queens. And remember, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, messed up his shop when he went to go fight the bank robbers, and they had those high-tech weapons in Homecoming. So he did that. Mr. Del Mar's shop was ruined, and we never seen him again.
Mr. Delmar.
Hey, Mr. Delmar, you in here? Is anybody in here? Hello?
Not that I remember. I don't remember him being in part 3. Let me see. Real quick. So it does say Del Mar was mentioned in the Far From Home trailer, but he was not in the movie, and then he was not in Far or No Way Home either. So yeah, I just like that they gave a little shout out to Del Mar with the t-shirt. And it's like one of those things, if you know, you know. Like, because I keep telling y'all, everyone does not know the deep cuts like that. I'm telling you, everyone doesn't know it. Some dude was like, I never watched Daredevil, so I didn't know who the Red Ninjas were. Like, I never watched The Punisher, so I didn't even know who this guy was. I just only know him from the Odyssey. I was like, damn. Number 39, just a quick side note. Still surprised Peter Parker's so on the side of damage control and so trusting. So number 40, why does Peter Parker need protein powder? Now, this is a thing that I wonder, because when we see Tobey Maguire, right, like when he get all swole, he just like that, and then we don't, not that I really remember we ever really see him shirtless. Like, they go out their way to show you Tom Holland's body, because they showed you like at least 3 different times in this movie, showed him in his underwear. And I also thought because he's so swole, he look a little pudgy in the suit. But that's just my personal opinion, and it's not bad. I know it's because he's swole, but he look a little pudgy in the suit. Because he's so swole. He not like Thor swole, but he just like, God, he's the swollest Spider-Man I've ever seen. How about that? But I was like, in the first Spider-Man, he really was, like, he was big enough, but he wasn't like that big. So, I don't know. I guess, I don't know what that is. I'm like, why does he need protein powder? Like, some people were wondering why he was jogging, because he already got like super speed and strength and all that stuff. So what is he jogging for? I'm like, maybe he just want to do it because remember, he was having the headaches. He want to clear his mind. So number 41, why does Peter have all that tech and no security system to alert of intruders? So Jean Grey is right up in his apartment looking through shit. And Evie just doesn't even say one time, hey, Peter, someone's in here that shouldn't be. What's up with that? I hated that part. For the plot, you needed to have it make sense, but I hate shit like that. Number 42, Jean Grey got an old man run over by a car. So this is the question I was asking. I'm like, well, when they come back, like when she jumps out of their body, do they remember that feeling? Are they hurt? Did he break a bone? Because like, how can you really get on Jean Grey's side? Other than, I get it, they took her sister, so you can always roll with that. Like, well, fuck it, she's sliding for her family. And remember, what we seen, she was actually looking for her sister. She didn't know that she was dead until later. So, number 43, Spider-Man pulled up to MJ's crib after he had this scuffle with Jean Grey. And he hit her with the Aladdin, bro. Do you trust me? Like, he put his hand out and she grabbed that motherfucker like Princess Jasmine, bro. You know, I loved it. Number 44. MJ wants to know if they knew each other, and this sets up the ultimate betrayal. So this was so crazy, bro. I knew I should have known it was too good to be true, but they did it real good. So when I go this time, I was really listening because they do a certain sound effect when Jean Grey is about to jump into someone's body. And I thought maybe I heard it very faintly when they got on the rooftop, but I really didn't. I really didn't. So I don't know, bro. Like, I just thought it was wild. The way she was like, we knew each other, huh? Everybody was like, it was so many people like happy, like people wanted to see that. And then, when that other shoe dropped, it was terrible. So MJ said, it feels like someone scrambled her brain and lifts up the mask and goes in for a kiss. And she says, Peter. So this is why you like, oh man, she really did it. Like, she really remembers him. And then number 46 happens. You can see the smirk when she's hugging him. And she said, go ahead, Peter. Touch her. Tell her how you feel about her. And then everybody was like, oh, no, she didn't. Like, it was people really pissed off about that, bro. Like, it was crazy. And then I believe when she said true love's kiss will break the spell, maybe that was like a Snow White thing. I think that's what it was. So she said, you thought true love's kiss would break the spell? MJ would throw up. And that's when she was like, it's no memories of here. It's no memories in here of you. Like, none whatsoever. That was disrespectful, bro. Like, she was disrespectful. That's why I was like, that's why when he shut her down, I was like happy because I was like, bro, she was an ass about it. And not only was she an ass, I just feel like she could have went about it a different way and was like, and said, you know what? Let me talk to Spider-Man about this. Maybe she didn't know. Maybe she don't know who Spider-Man is, even though he got the key to the city. But maybe she just didn't know who he was, so that's why she did it. But I mean, she was a bit aggressive when it came to Spidey. 48, she said MJ says he should write a letter to himself because it's only a matter of time before Peter Parker doesn't even know who Peter Parker is. So she was saying that as the darkness was starting to take over his eyes and all of that shit was happening. So, makes sense. Number 49, Peter does what he couldn't do in No Way Home and saves MJ from falling. So if you remember in No Way Home, when MJ was falling off of the building, off of the Statue of Liberty, he dove to save her and he would have saved her, but he got penetrated. Pause. He got hit by Goblin's glider, and boom, took him out. And before you know it, my man's, he couldn't do it. But she was saved by Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. So we all good. It was all good. But still, like, damn, he couldn't save his queen. But he saved her right here, even though it's not his queen anymore. Number 50. Why did Jean Grey want Spider-Man to see her face? So, for whatever reason, she was in a car with no tents in the back, and she literally showed Spider-Man her face. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if it was on purpose, or did she just try to, like, was they like, okay, we gotta show her face now? Because they kind of showed her face a little bit, but right then and there they showed her face really clear, and his HUD was able to replicate the image, and that's how they ended up finding out it was Jean Grey. Number 51, Spider-Man wants to take MJ somewhere safe and goes to Frank's? What? I didn't understand that whatsoever. Why would you go to Frank's? But okay. And what was tripping me out, I'm like, why is his senses heightened, but he can't figure out the booby traps? It just, maybe it's because it's like he didn't know how to harness his heightened senses or whatever. But I didn't understand that part. That's why Frank was like, "You're losing it, kid. You should have noticed that." And then for whatever reason, like, and I loved it too, but when I seen it for the third time, I just really don't like the tone that Peter talks to Frank in. It's so condescending. He's like, "Are you crazy? Why would you have all this?" And he was like, "You got some nerve, bro. You coming to my house unannounced. What are you talking about?" Like, I just really didn't understand. Like, he just talked to, like, he just was little bro and Frank, like, so much. Number 53, Frank made chili. That was funny because it was so like a left turn. It was like he was like so hardcore, and he was like, "All right, well, I made chili." So while in Frank's crib, we get to know that we are in fact dealing with Jean Grey. We actually find out she was an orphan and she didn't have no parents or whatever. She was in the foster system until she ran away. And then so that was cool to know a little backstory. We got a lot of Jean Grey's origin here. And I fuck with it, bro. That shit was dope. So number 55, just the same gripe. Why is Spider-Man constantly little broing the Punisher? How are they even cool, but he knows nothing about him? So I say that because he was like, "Oh man, I gotta go and I gotta go do this and I gotta go do that." And the Punisher was like, "Well, how you know I don't got all that stuff?" And then he was like, "I can help you." And he was like, "No way you got this and that." And he was like, "You got some mouth. Like, why?" He was like, "Why wouldn't I have all that shit?" And then Peter was like, "Well, why would you?" And then MJ was like, "To make bombs." He was like, "Bingo." So yeah, I just didn't understand. He was so disrespectful to Punisher. Even though the Punisher was helping him out. He was like so disrespectful. Number 56, Peter was hating and called MJ's boyfriend a jerk for saying she's withholding, even though he's withholding. So that was funny that, Spider-Man still hating or whatever. I loved it. Still hating. 57, love seeing Peter and MJ workshop together. Like, seeing them do the inhibitor, I loved it because we only got to see a little bit of it in No Way Home when they were in the Undercroft, right, with Doctor Strange, but not so much. Like, he was still doing the heavy lifting. This right here, like, she actually figured out why his inhibitor wasn't working. So it's really she made it work, and MJ. So everybody is giving the credit to just or she made it work and Peter, but everyone's giving the credit to Spider-Man for creating an inhibitor, but it was MJ too. So remember that. And you got to think, she went to a smart high school. They went to a school for gifted children, and she got into MIT. So clearly she's brilliant. 58, Frank gets upset that Spider-Man drinks coffee with his mask on. So again, I just didn't even understand it, and I get it. Spider-Man was like, don't take it personal. I don't take the mask off for anyone. But I'm just like, damn, bro, it's been 4 years. You ain't got no friends? And then he like, I'm like you, man. I'm just to myself. And I'm like, bro, what do you know about Frank? That's when I said, what in my head, I was like, what do you know about Frank? And then Frank was like, what do you know about me, bro? You know shit about me. I wouldn't be rolling around here without my family if I didn't have to. So I love that part. 59, fast forward to damage control, and we see Smart Hulk is really weak because he couldn't even knock the wall down. So I had no idea why, like, she brought Hulk and he kept banging, trying to get through that wall where where she thought VMAX was, and he could not get through it. And then finally, Dr. Banner, or I think maybe it was the Hulk, I don't know who it was, but actually pushed her out of his head, but the inhibitor was off, and now the Hulk was like, oh, it's my time to shine. And yeah, the Hulk started doing damage for real. The Hulk actually got hella big. So when I was looking, I was like, damn, why he look so big? He's actually bigger than Smart Hulk. Way more muscles, all of that shit. So I was actually shocked with that. Which was wild because he was actually suppressing Smart Hulk too. Just to be Banner all the time. So then you do that, and so you suppressing Smart Hulk and Savage Hulk, and bro, Savage Hulk was not wasted. I'm telling you, his scene was so fire. I'm in D-Box with the motion seats. Bro, my seat was shaking. My shit was like hella shaking. I was like, oh my God, dude had to hold his cup, bro. Like it was going crazy. So Punisher actually did do some damage to the Hulk. So people were saying, oh, he was just shooting, doing stupid shit. No, he was shooting, and his shots did get him off of Spider-Man. I know people just, I just got to accept this with every movie, bro. People just run to the internet with their nitpicks because every movie you're going to have nitpicks, right? But people like, why was he shooting the Hulk? He wasted 3 clips. You think, first of all, the Hulk or the Punisher is worried about magazines? No. And 2, him shooting those rounds at the Hulk really did get the Hulk off of Spider-Man. It really did. So I don't know why people was acting dumb. And then he threw the bomb and blew the motherfucker up, and it knocked the Hulk back. But that was when he was Smart Hulk. That was when he was Smart Hulk. Not, when he was Big Hulk, he wasn't fucking with him then. But when he was Smart Hulk, it really did. It was working. So I don't know why, people's acting like he wasn't. So 61, Bruce was able to push Jean out of his mind, unlike Wanda, because we got that iconic line. To me, it's iconic now. Now that I heard it, no Banner, no girl, only Hulk. That shit was fire, bro. Like, oh, that was fire. 62, Banner knows that Peter is Hulk, or that Peter is Spider-Man because of the universal inhibitor, because when Peter tried to put it on him, they just had this conversation yesterday about creating the universal inhibitor, and boom, literally he has created one the next day. So we now know that the Hulk knows Spider-Man's secret identity. 63, just gotta say, no Banner, no girl, only Hulk. Scene was iconic, bro. I love it. It's actually a top 5 scene in the movie for me. So in this fight, the inhibitor catch reminds me of the Spider-Man 3 wedding ring catch. it just was similar to me. The inhibitor is going into the camera, and then you get to see Spider-Man in the distance hit him with the get over here. I love that part. Spider-Man 3 nod. So 66, Spidey slapped the inhibitor on Jean, and she says Sarah, and Bill said that was the name of a coworker, and I instantly knew it was a lie, and I'm shocked that Spider-Man didn't know that it was a lie because it just seemed absurd. Like everyone that came out of the coma was just like, they didn't know what was going on. Even in that moment, Frank was like, is that my pistol on the wall? Like, he was like, what the hell? So I was shocked that Spider-Man didn't know that was a lie, but a lot was going on. He just got body slammed by the Hulk multiple times. He probably had multiple concussions. So I don't know if you can get multiple concussions in one sitting, but I'm sure he had it. So, number 67, MJ found the letter, and now it's time to have the talk about who he is. And some people was wondering, how did she get the letter? Jean Grey got it out of his apartment, and when he saved Jean Grey, or not saved Jean Grey, but when he saved MJ from falling, she gave the letter to him. So he had the letter on him, and I'm guessing he was reading it and just forgot it, left it. He don't got pockets as Spider-Man. I guess he don't got pockets, right? Like, because I'm always wondering, like, where does he put his phone? Maybe he got like a little Spidey pocket we don't know about. And if so, he should have put the letter there. But number 68, Peter comes clean and says he lost someone that he loves, and that's why he did it, but he loves her. And MJ says his memories she doesn't remember because the spell worked, and that she doesn't love him and doesn't even know him. So that shit, it hit hard. It hurt, but number 69, she still needed a ride home, which was another fake out to me, because when she went up the stairs and came back down, I thought she was about to say something like, well, maybe, but no, she was just like, I just need a ride home. I was like, damn. So, number 70, after a quiet ride and after a quiet, awkward swing home, MJ still offers him to come in and say hi to a Ned who is running a Spider-Man Discord server. So, your Ned is fully tapped into the Spider-Man shit. He was always the guy in the chair. Always the guy in the chair. So, number 71, Ned is asking the important questions, like, where does Spider-Man urinate? So, that shit was funny. And I was like, I never thought about it, but that would be kind of like, yeah, do you really want to just go to somebody's bathroom as Spider-Man? Or would you want to really get dressed? And then I'm like, he's in a leotard. I don't care what he said, or he in a onesie. So, like, how do you go to the bathroom? Right? Like, you gotta take the whole suit off and get out and then go. Like, yeah, I don't know. So maybe he does go on. He probably go to the highest building. I think that's what he does. Number 72, Spidey tells MJ he kissed her during the blackout, unlike Bear from Obsession. But this is how he knew Bill was lying. So I always said, or I said in my last review, bro, the fact that, Spider-Man came clean to MJ and told her, yo, I kissed you. I thought it was you. It wasn't you. But I apologize because that was messed up. And then she was like, well, it's not like I remember it. It's like I was sitting in a chair and then I was falling out of a window, or I was falling off a cliff. Like, it was just like that. And that's when he was like, what? So you didn't remember it? Oh, so he lied to me. Yeah, he lied, boy. He lied, boy. So number 73, this is when we learn that Sarah is Jean's sister, which is another lie Bill told, because remember, Bill said that was the coworker. So 74, quickly we see a mom and daughter play sticky handball, and that shit is super fun. You know, obviously with the Velcro ball, and you hold it up. Oh, always fun. I remember the first time my mom bought that and we was playing with it in the house. Super fun. So I just love to see little throwbacks like that. And that's when you know, obviously Jean Grey felt the way, because she was like, why did our mom just leave us? Like, that's when she even said it. So yeah, that was a good feeling. 75. Love how Bill gives the credit to Spider-Man as to why her powers don't work, and Spider-Man gave him the low on the distance. So this is what I was saying about him being so trusting with damage control. He gave them the inhibitor, all of that shit. Mind you, you don't even really know how this works. Like, you think you know, but you don't really know how it works. So the fact that he even just giving out inhibitors like that was crazy. And then telling them the distance and all of that shit. I'm like, damn, you don't even know what's going on with these guys. But he gonna get a rude awakening. 76. Even Frank used the Spidey tracker site. Now remember, we did this review about a month ago when they came out with the website. So it's actually, and I think it's maybe an app, but I know it's for sure a website that you can go on the Spidey tracker site and see where he's been. I actually should just go back on there to look, because it's been so long. But yeah, that shit fire, bro. So number 77, Frank already made up his mind that he was going to shoot Jean Grey, which to me is uncharacteristic, because she was already locked up. So it made no sense to me why he was on his way to go kill Jean Grey, right? If she was already locked up and Spider-Man is telling you, oh no, I made a mistake, they did this to her sister, blah, 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 this is what she's doing. Frank, of all people, should understand that gripe, but instead he was like, if I gotta do it, I'm gonna do it. And he was like, fuck that, and hung up. A little uncharacteristic. Number 78, Bill doesn't know VMAX, but obviously, who looks at the vents at work? Like, you look at them, but you're not looking at the name on the vent. 79, damage control instantly turns against Spider-Man once they get what they want. So this was a hard left turn, because damage control was like buddy with Spidey, and soon as they got her locked up, as soon as they got the inhibitor and they thought they had it, all of a sudden Spider-Man was enemy of the state. As soon as he tried to come in, the damn damage control guards just started fighting him. So that was a little crazy and very arrogant of Mr. Bill. So number 80, Bill admits to killing Sarah. Once it all clicks that VMAX is the vent she was staring up at when she died, Jean loses it. So we go through this whole scenario where he's saying, oh, your sister's sacrifice is going to make a big contribution. And she was like, what do you mean? And then when he kept shocking her doing what she was doing, and she was looking up, she was like, oh, because he doing this to me, and look how I got me looking up at the vent. That's VMAX. Oh, you mother. And then, yeah, that shit was fire. So then 81, that's when she freezes everything within a mile of her, and tough break for New York right after Thunderbolts.
You're safe, little one.
So, I mean, damn, bro. New York just cannot catch a break. I mean, we seen what happened with Bob when he had his trauma episode, and he what put all of New York inside his trauma, or at least I don't know the radius that it was, and they never exclusively say that Spider-Man had anything to do with that or knew about it. So that's just crazy, bro, that New York is just dealing with all of this chaos, bro. I know they just like. And then obviously we'll see later with MJ with her crying while she's being in whatever is going on with Jean Grey, and she's crying, and then you can hear Ned like he's trying to breathe but he can't. So I don't know, it's weird. We don't really know if they could feel anything, but regardless, she was crying. So now that Jean has control of everyone, you know, this is when we get the fight with the hand. And this fight, it was cool because we got to see what we seen. So we know that she can control them. So it was Spider-Man fighting the hand. All their movements are the same, but it just it's a little tainted a little bit because you know they're being controlled by Jean Grey, but still cool nevertheless. And they was whooping Spidey ass. Like, he was fucking with him at first because even he was like, God, that's cool. Like when I think he hit one of them and they all just, and while they was holding hands, just went up and came back down and jumped at him. And that's when he jumped on the gate, and that's when I said, oh, that's the Spider-Man 1 reference. That's the Spider-Man 1 reference.
It's a bleed time. What are you doing up there?
Staying away from you.
Like, unlock the cage. Like, that's that reference right there, at least to me. So 83, we see the anti-Spider-Man tech to stop his web shooters. And yeah, we seen damage control with Slimy. But to me, it's not really surprising because, yeah, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You don't know about Spider-Man. It's a superhero, a superpowered individual. Look what he did with that cop, right? Like, he could have killed that cop. He faces no consequences for that. So something like that. Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad that they have a whole anti-Spider-Man task force. It's predictable to me. I'm actually shocked that he was shocked. But yeah, the fact that they were able to invent something to stop his web shooters was crazy because he's the one who invented web shooters. So that's a little wild that they figured it out. 84, why was MJ crying? So we talked about this a little bit. Some people say she was crying because she was inside of Jean Grey's bubble, and maybe that made her remember everything that went on with Spider-Man. We could talk about that a little later when it comes to her necklace. I don't think that's the case. I just think that maybe if they showed a lot of people, they would have been crying, right? And maybe it was like, you got to think, she did this while she was grieving. She had just found out her sister was murdered. So, yeah, it would only make sense that she would really go through it like that, and maybe they could sense her pain and her emotion. '85, Peter has flashbacks of his friends, and people wonder, where was Tony? But remember this, bro. Y'all got to, again, stop nitpicking everything. Tony did not die because of Peter Parker's actions. He did not. Tony died because Tony died a hero. So yeah, he missed Tony for sure, but he was never friends with Tony. Like, I get it, he was going through it and he was grieving. He was grieving in Far From Home, but he grieved already. They weren't friends. Now, they did what they did, but they were not friends. And him and Ned, for real bros, right? They was each other's only friends throughout, it seemed like, high school. And they were already cool from probably middle school. So, and then obviously MJ was his girlfriend. That's what you really would give a fuck about. I'm not saying you don't care about Iron Man, But come on, bro. Tony died a hero. Everybody loved Iron Man. It's not the same. So instead of beating the crap out of the hen, he webs them gently because he knows it's against their will, but it looked very cool. So I just love that scene where he unlocked his powers, and I was just laughing because when he was doing the slow motion shit, I was like, well, don't you already have that? Like, being honest, the whole Spidey sense is why he's able to dodge the attacks. Is because he has the Spidey sense. So he can dodge attacks. He can dodge bullets. He can catch bullets. He can do all of that. So I really didn't understand that part. But it looked cool. Because it looked like, again, Spider-Man 1. When Flash was punching him, and he was like, whoa. Like, you know, it was the same thing. So it was cute. But I just like, isn't that already what's going on? Like, shouldn't it all already be in slow motion? So Peter finally lets Jean into his mind, and the talk Aunt May gives him is what she needed to hear. Now remember, she didn't have her mom to really guide her through any of this stuff. So Aunt May, being that parental figure that she never had to tell her something, even though she was telling it to Peter while he was growing up and becoming Spider-Man, she needed to hear it as well. And that's what they both needed to, you know, bond over each other. 88, Peter is a Mets fan because we've seen the poster on the wall. Just had to throw that out there. 89, both say sorry for each other's loss. So this is what we were saying. She said sorry for your aunt's loss, or he said sorry for your sister's loss. She said sorry about your aunt. And they really bond because, yeah, I know what it's like to lose someone because of who I am. You don't got to tell me. You don't got to tell me. Like, so that's why he was like, I'll let you in my mind. I lost my auntie, which y'all know what I've been saying all this time. Aunt May died because she was too helpful. She should have let Peter Parker send them motherfuckers back to their respective timelines where they died. Okay? Because that's where they deserve to be at. Instead, she wanted him to save them because she said, is that what's the best for them, or is that what's the best for you? And him doing that end up getting her killed. So it's not just on him. It's on her too. But what's her saying? You help someone, you help everyone. She wanted to help. Number 90. So Spidey takes a bullet for Jean and then collapses. And then just leaves me confused. Because, bro, in No Way Home, he got shot 3 times, like close range.
Come out with your hands up! Come out right now, or we will open fire! What? All right, let's go!
And he just bounced those off and hopped on the damn building, and he was good after that. So I don't know why it's like, maybe I don't know. I'm starting to feel like maybe the arachnid DNA is more of a hindrance than anything. Because now it's like he can't even take a bullet. Is it because it's a super Frank Castle sniper bullet? Like, is that why he couldn't take it? I don't know. Just makes me wonder. So before we get to the last 10, bro, we on 91. Before we get to the last 10, please, man, please hit that follow button because it's much appreciated. If you hit that follow button right here on Spotify, it's much appreciated. I need it. We on the road to 600, and every time I see someone hit that follow button, it turns my frown upside down. And then hit that 5-star rate. Please, we got to get these scores up. All right. And then follow your boy on Apple Podcasts. If you don't, if you're one of the listeners, follow on Apple Podcasts. You can hit it right here. Hit that follow button, and yeah, it's much appreciated, man. What we got? 56 over here. I don't know, man. It's stuck over here. It's stuck. I gotta see what the followers look like. A 5-star rate too. All right, let's finish this thing on up. We right at the end. Right at the end. So, number 91. Jean says, "Look at me," to Peter, and instantly starts breathing for him. So I didn't catch this on my first watch. I don't even think I caught it on the second watch. I caught it the last time when I seen it. She said, "Look at me," and then she starts breathing for him. And she breathes for him all the way until he wakes up. Now, we don't know how long he was in a coma. It could have been the next day or whatever. It probably was the next day, right? Because they went in at night, everyone gathered around outside, and then it probably was like the next morning he got up. But yeah, that was cool, man. It was good to see. And you know, that's the redeeming quality right there. That's the redeeming quality for Jean Grey. So 92, we get a scene similar to Into the Spider-Verse, to that death scene. That scene always got me. It was like, when I watched Into the Spider-Verse, I thought it, like, until that point, it was a good movie. But that moment when the Spider-Man of that universe died and they played that "I'm not scared of the dark," like, oh man, when they played that shit, crazy, bro. Like, I ain't crying nothing, but yeah, I felt it. I got goosebumps in that moment. So they kind of tried to recreate that, and they did, but it's just not going to hit the same because Peter doesn't die, right? So, but it was still a good scene. 93, Jean stops. So 93, Jean stops breathing for Peter because he's all good now, and he wakes up to see all his gifts and even the drawing from MJ. So that's why I said, who knows? Was it the next morning or was it 2 days later? Could have been, because I'm like, damn, that's pretty soon that he had all of those gifts, and then the MJ drawing. Now, she could have went over in that morning and still dropped it off, but because remember, she made a drawing of him with Ned when they were building the Legos. And even he was, I haven't had this much fun in years. Like, I missed you guys. That scene was sad too. So number 94, Frank didn't cry. I seen no tears dropped. Even though when Peter turned his head, he did a little wipe away. So I'm not sure, but I don't think he cried for real. Like, I don't think he cried. I think he was cool. Like, I didn't understand why he would cry. I think it's because he probably thought he killed him. And if he would have died, that would have been on his chest. It'd been on his shoulders. Like, you killed Spider-Man, motherfucker. Like, how dare you? So I think that's all it was. I don't think it was anything other than that, right? Like, I think he was cool. So Frank, number 95, Frank was enjoying being Spider-Man, bro. That shit was so funny when he had the mask on. He was like, oh, oh. Like, he was enjoying it. And why not, bro? You got thousands of people down there at your hospital, like outside your hospital room, waving at you and shit. And I'd be like kind of trying to think about how the hospitals are structured out here. And I'm like, yeah, you could do that. You could do that. Not if you're in the ER. Not if you're in ER. But if you like, and they put you in an actual room in like Vegas where I was there, yeah, you can do it if they put you in a room, but not in the ER. 96. A kid looks at Spider-Man or at Peter, and I wasn't sure if it was meant to be that he knew that Peter was Spider-Man, like maybe he's seen him before. Maybe seen him take off his mask or something. Because why would he look at Peter and just do the? But you never know, bro. Sometimes, only why I said I didn't know, because I do it to people. Like if I see someone with a Spider-Man shirt on, I'll do the Spider Society type of thing, right? Like I'll do that. But if it's a thing to where I'm not sure, I'm just not even gonna do it. Like, so I was a little shocked at that, and I didn't understand what they was trying to give off on there. Like, did he know? But who knows? So now Peter is 97. Now MJ is chilling with the necklace Peter gave her in Far From Home. So I don't know if this is supposed to symbolize that she was done for, or she actually remembered him, or what. I don't know what it was supposed to symbolize. Like, did she know that he was Spider-Man? Or she figured it out, but did she get her memories back? They don't really say. Or is it I like this guy, but he's not the guy for me. And maybe this guy was the guy for me, but because he took the memories from me, I'm not sure now. So maybe it was like she was just confused about it, but they did leave it up for interpretation. So who knows? But I don't know. She had the necklace, and I'm interested to see how that goes. 98. So Jean Grey takes a bus to what looks like upstate New York. So some people are thinking that Jean Grey just dipped off, but I don't think so. I think she was going to upstate New York. Who knows why? Maybe they got something going on to where she finds an Xavier, or maybe the school for gifted children is already out there, and maybe it's already a Professor Xavier in the MCU. Who knows? But I'm not sure. But they really did that, and I thought it was cool that they did it like that. I thought it was cool that they did that and left it up to her interpretation. Like, where is Jean going? Is she going to another state, or is she going to stay in New York? Who knows? But we'll see soon, because an X-Men movie is going to be coming soon. So number 99, Peter tells Aunt May at her grave that he won't be doing it alone anymore. So what does that mean? Is he going to be working with the Hulk? Huh? Is he gonna find something out with because he wasn't always working alone, right? Like he was doing it with the cop, but she didn't know who he was. So now that Frank knows his secret identity, is he gonna be working with him closely? What does that mean? Now we also see him go and talk to Ned, but is that what he meant? Who knows? So number 100, Bill is missing. Bill is missing, but we find out that Yelena is helping. So to sort out the corruption. So not so small potato anymore. Like Yelena is for real helping. So Peter sees Ned and does the handshake, and muscle memory kicks in, and boom, my boy knows what's going on, and he says, Peter? Now everyone is interpreting this scene differently. How do you interpret it? I feel like it's a thing where he remembered him. It's like his mind opened up and he remembered him while he said Peter. Now, he did introduce himself as Peter, but I think when he said Peter, he was like, okay. But when he did the handshake, it all came back to him. He was like, Peter. So that made sense. And that's how I interpret it. So everyone is saying that. I think that's what it is. And I think it's clear as day. So I don't know about y'all, but that's the 101 things that I missed the first time I watched Spider-Man Brand New Day. Any Easter egg I caught, any reference, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Almost as long as my original breakdown, but this is the Easter egg hunt, so this is definitely my longest one in my podcast career. The highest I believe I went to was like 62. So getting 101 is crazy. Every Dalmatian, all the spots have been counted. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's your host, Kevin27. Believe until you make believers, and I'll see you on the next one.